As more Western equipment reaches the battlefield for Ukraine, the daily Russian death toll is slowly creeping back up. Overall, the toll has been heavy, with estimates suggesting that between 350,000 and 500,000 Russian soldiers have been killed or wounded, and a vast number of tanks, vehicles, and weapon systems destroyed. Figures we haven't seen since World War II. Ukraine has seen somewhere around 170,000 to 220,000 casualties. The battle for Avdiivka alone saw 17,000 Russian deaths, higher than the decade-long war they had in Afghanistan. Russia took the city, but at great cost. These losses were confirmed by a Russian milk blogger who said he estimated 16,000 Russian deaths. The numbers do not tell the full story, though. Russia has a far larger reserve of troops than Ukraine and has a much bigger population from which to recruit. Russia has one of the largest active armed forces in the world, with around 1.1 million active personnel and 1.5 million in reserve. Ukraine has between 500,000 and 800,000 active personnel, with up to 400,000 in reserve, but it is estimated that they have about 1 million people under arms prepared to fight against the Russians. But this does not mean Russia is providing quality troops. Their casualty count in 2023 spiked compared with the 2022 fighting, which almost certainly reflects a degradation of Russia's forces and its transition to a lower quality, high quantity of mass army. For both countries, recruiting personnel has posed challenges, but for Russia, it is becoming far more difficult. Yes, President Putin continues his quiet conscription efforts in rural, poor areas. To boost military numbers, his planners have also started recruiting contract soldiers, offering them high wages and other benefits that the regular Russian soldiers don't get, including a substantial signing bonus and compensation for families in the case of death that exceeds that of the normal Russian soldier. And by high, I mean it's about $7,600. Moreover, authorities continue to use the country's prisons, offering inmates the chance to exchange military service for a pardon or amnesty. Estimates suggest up to 100,000 prisoners may have been recruited since the beginning of the war, but that source is also drying up as well for Russia, as they face a higher casualty rate than regular troops. And word is getting around the prison population that they are basically a part of Operation Get Behind the Criminal here. Military commanders have also been adjusting the terms of service agreements, leading to discontent among soldiers and their families. They are causing a lack of leave from the battlefield. They're doing unauthorized contract extensions and outright torture for those attempting to leave as their contracts end. This has sparked a grassroots movement led by Russian mothers and wives demanding better treatment and a rotation of the troops. Additionally, Russia has been tricking men from Africa and India with promises of riches and job opportunities, only to have those opportunities turn into coerced conscriptions where the Russians take these men's passports and threaten them with prison time, or worse, for not fighting with Russia. India has launched a formal investigation and has filed complaints against Russia for these actions. Despite significant losses, another official mobilization is not expected anytime soon. However, continued high Russian casualty rates of between 600 to 1,000 Russian deaths per day on average may force the Kremlin to reconsider its non-conscript strategy. And with Western equipment flowing in more steadily now, Russia will see even more deaths, which may lead Russia to have to either coerce more citizens into service or send more conscripts into battle unprepared, both of which would be very unpopular in Russia. Currently, Russian law mandates that all men aged 18 to 30 serve at least 12 months in the military, but they are not permitted to serve abroad or engage in combat. That, however, has not stopped Russia from bending that rule in the past and even breaking it and sending their conscripts directly to the front line. They obviously would not be well trained, but this is rather designed to be more meat for the grinder per se than actual troops that are a trained professional fighting force.